What's going on, chicken friends? It's Donna Little from the Coop Scoop, and today we're doing something a little bit different. I'm going to make some jalapeno fig preserves. I am excited about this because I've never tried this before, and I've thought about it, and I just haven't taken the plunge and done this. We have fig trees here, so every year I get tons and tons of figs, and I always just end up, we eat some of them, we share them with the chickens. Sometimes I make fig preserves, or I put some, slice them up and put them in the freeze dryer, and they're delicious. It's like candy almost. But this year, unfortunately, several months ago, one of my fig trees, actually my biggest producing fig tree, was struck by lightning, and it died. So I know I'm going to get a lot less figs for a little while, and I'm probably they're going to come in a little bit slower than they usually do. So as it stands right now, I don't have a lot of figs, but they were already ripe and ready. I put them in my refrigerator, and I knew I wouldn't have enough to make a big batch of fig preserves or even fill up trays to put them in my freeze dryer. So I'm going to make a small batch of jalapeno fig preserves. So I am excited about this because I've never tried this before, but Mark and I both love that sweet and spicy combination, so these really should be delicious. Now the recipe calls for 2 cups of figs, 2 jalapenos, a box of pectin, a cup of honey, 2 cups of sugar, and a half a cup of vinegar. Now I'm going to tweak this a little bit because I realized when I cut my figs up that I actually have 3 cups of figs. So I've added a jalapeno, and I'm going to stick with the cup of honey, and I'm going to see how it tastes, because every recipe that I come across that's doing a jam or a jelly, it's a little bit sweeter than I want it to be. So we're going to try it with just the cup of honey. If I need to put sugar in there, then I will do it a little bit at a time, maybe a half a cup at a time, and see where we're at. I'm also going to put in a little bit more vinegar, maybe 3/4 of a cup, because my recipe is bigger. And I'm also, though, going to lessen the pectin, because I want this to be, I want it to be, to sit up and be thick, but I also want it to be a little bit more spreadable. So we're going to try that. So I'm going to get, for the sake of time, I've already got my jalapenos cut up and my figs cut up, and I'm going to get all this in the pot, and we're going to get started. We've got our figs in, we've got our jalapenos in, and we're going to put, because this is a little bit more, we're going to put 3/4 of a cup. I'm also going to put a little bit of butter in there, and that is just going to keep the figs from foaming up. And now we need to get our honey in. We're going to bring this to a boil, and then we'll put the pectin in after it comes to a boil. Now over on the other burner, I have my jars in the pot, and they are sterilizing as we speak. All right, let's get this stirred together. Now because this is a high acidity food, you don't have to pressure can this. This is just going to go in a water bath. I have a water bath pot, but I'm not going to use it because I don't feel like dragging it down. It's up above my refrigerator, so I'm just going to use a nice big pot that I have. But if you don't have one, just make sure you have something in the bottom of your pot to raise your jars up off of the bottom. I don't have a rack that will fit in this other pot, so I've put some canning lids in the bottom, and my jars will sit on top of that. So I think what I'm going to do also is use my immersion blender with this, because I think I want it to be nice and smooth, because I want to use this as a spread on like crackers, you know, with cream cheese on it. You could also use this on a hamburger. You could put it in a sandwich. I mean, there's a million different things you could probably use this for. It would be probably really good as a glaze on pork, or I don't know, I think it would even be good on fish. So we're going to get this to a boil, let it boil for a minute, then we'll add the pectin, and then I'm going to give it a taste and see if I think that it needs any sugar at all, because a lot of the recipes, like I said, they call for a lot of sugar, and it's just way sweeter than I want it to be. So after we get this boiling and get our pectin in, we'll be right back. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so good. I can tell already. Now, I haven't tasted it yet, so I'm about to. I wanted to leave some chunks in it, but also have it a little bit smoother. So let me get a spoon. I want to taste this and see if I want any sugar in it at all. This is going to be obviously very hot. I haven't put my pectin in yet either. That is really good. I think it could use the tiniest bit of sugar. I've got a half a cup here, so I'm going to put maybe half of that. Now keep in mind this recipe calls for 2 cups. You know, usually if you're doing something like this and it's a fruit that has really got a lot of sweetness to it, you really don't need as much sugar. I guess it's a matter of personal preference. So we're going to get this stirred up. And that ought to do. I'm going to put my pectin in now. And we need to boil this for 1 more minute. And then we're going to start getting this jarred up. It's already getting thicker. We'll be right back. All right, we only ended up with 4 half pints. The recipe said it would make 5, and I actually did extra, so I have just a little bit more, and we're going to just pop this in the fridge. But I have tasted it, and I will taste it again. It is perfect. You can taste a little bit of that vinegar in there, so it gives it a little bite. It does not, however, really have any heat. You can get a little of the jalapeno flavor, but it's really, really perfect. If you're somebody that doesn't like a lot of spice, this I think would be absolutely great. I'm going to wipe these down just so there's no jelly, jam, whatever you want to call this, on the top of the lid. And we're going to get our lids on. They are also very clean. They've been in some nice hot water, and my pot is over here boiling and ready to put these in. So we're going to get our rings on. You just want, these jars are very hot. We just want these kind of fingertip tight. You don't have to just crank them down. Now, because my pot here is big and I don't want these jars to spill or to turn over, they won't spill, I'm going to fill these with water and just put them in there with it just to keep these upright so they don't tip over in the pot. So we're going to get them in, and we'll be back when they're done. They're going to process in here at a boil for 5 minutes. So we'll be back in a minute. Our 5 minutes are up. One of them is already sealed. It just popped. I don't know if you heard that. And they look beautiful. We're going to hope that they taste as good. I did give it a little taste, but I stuck this jar, that was my extra, in the fridge. It's not cool yet, but it already is a nice, thicker consistency, so I think this is going to be perfect. So let me taste it. All right, so I don't know if you can tell, but it's a nice, thick consistency already, and it's not even cool. Now, the only thing that I wish, or at least from what I tasted a minute ago, that is so good. I do wish it had a little bit more heat to it. I like things a little bit spicier. So maybe next time I will either add a couple of jalapenos or maybe even a serrano in there. But you get the flavor of the jalapeno, you can taste it, you get a little bite from that vinegar, and then the sweetness. And I'm going to just say, I am so glad that I did not put that much sugar in there. I put 1/4 of a cup, and it called for 2 cups. Maybe the extra 2 cups of sugar is why I didn't get even 5 jars out of this, but that is plenty sweet for me. But I would suggest, if you decide you want to make this, to just taste it once you've got it in your pot and it's getting to the point of boiling and all of your flavors are marrying together. Give it a taste and decide. Like I said, it did originally call for an entire box of pectin. I want it to be a little less gelatinous, maybe might be the word, but I want it to be a little bit more spreadable. So that's why I didn't put all the pectin in there either. But I am going to link the recipe that I went by down in the comments. I'll pin that for you guys. And I hope you're enjoying our content. I'm going to start sort of branching out a little bit. I'm going to do a whole playlist of canning and preserving foods, and we'll throw some freeze drying stuff in there too. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.